And as you can see, we now have our 4 seasons. Behind the scenes, in the source on the HTML side, there's select item option tags. And you can see there's no difference between how one looks that I defined in code as a list item object, or one that I just added as a property and added to the collection directly. So again, this won't do anything when we submit in terms of reading anything out of that list box or making any choices. But what I'm going to do now is submit this page, and I'm going to show you an interesting quirk. It says button clicked, but look what we have. We have a double list of seasons. If I click it again, we have a triple list. Keeps growing and growing every time we click. So that's not going to work, is it? So what is happening behind the scenes is every time I click this button, it invokes this code, creates these items, adds them to the list, sends contact back to the browser, showing an even larger list. The reason why it's a larger list is because of something called view state. If I view source again, you'll see that we have a hidden tag. And a hidden tag is part of HTML forms processing. It's a way that you can persist and store data behind the scenes and pass along with what a user enters. Well, ASP.NET relies on the hidden tag as a cache, as a place to store information. And so what it's trying to do is benefit by persisting what users have interacted with. So when we had those list items in code the very first time, when that page renders for the user initially, the view state keeps track of what list items were available. So we have two things happening here. We have code adding list items, we have view state saving them and putting them back to the server and keeping them for the client for the future. So we only want that code to run when the page first loads, not every single time. And the way that we achieve that is by working with a property of the page itself called isPostBack. To work with isPostBack, you'd want to use an if statement, something like this. You'd build an if structure in C#, and you would say if page isPostBack equals, 2 equal signs is for comparison, equals true, and then we'd create a code block using curly braces. So anything that's within those curly braces will occur when postback equals true. So let's just leave the list alone for now. We'll add another response.write. And we'll put isPostback. And we'll save and run it one more time. Now, this is the initial load of the page. We don't see the response.write. When I hit submit, we do. isPostback, and the button clicked is also showing there. Response.write again, it's just literally sending what we put in the command, so it's just throwing all the response writes in one place. So it's kind of messy. But it gets the point across that on the second page load is when the postback happened. Okay, so now we can go to a more practical use of isPostback. I'm going to select all of the list item code. I'm going to right click and choose cut. I'm going to make a slightly bigger area between the curly braces and choose paste. And now our goal is that when we run our code, we'll only ever see 4 seasons because this code only runs on the initial load of the page. So we're going to run it one more time. And you notice I have no seasons. And that's because I told it only to run if postback equals true. I actually made a little bit of a logical mistake there. When I hit submit now, I have seasons. I want the opposite. I want those seasons when postback equals false, which means that when it's not a postback, which only ever happens really on the first page load. So goes to show you here how easily you can end up with an opposite result. But it also shows the importance of understanding what's happening behind the scenes, which you only obtain through practice and repetition. So we're going to run the page. Now I have my seasons. When I hit submit, I only have a set of 4. And we'll just show you one more view on all this. We'll debug. So I'll put a breakpoint on the if line. I clicked in the left margin. And now when I debug and choose start debugging, it checks first in the code to see if it's postback. And I can hold my mouse over as postback and it's false. So I don't. Oh, that's a comment, I'm sorry. So when I step in, it actually goes and steps into all the code and goes through the process of adding those list items. I'm going to step out of that now because we were just trying to demonstrate the concept. And I have my seasons. When I submit, PostBack is now true. That code, when I step into, is skipped because it's not going to run on subsequent visits. So that's the basics of mapping an event to a control, of working with drop-down list, and most critically of working with the PostBack concept in .NET, which again is what happens when your client-side page sends content back to the server for processing on the server side. Thanks again. Bye.